To finally start our way down the ICW, we first had to get to Norfolk, and that meant making our way through the busy Hampton Harbor. Due to the high traffic in this area, it was not a good place for us to get motor problems. But when the engine cut out, we quickly set sail and tried to fix it. Sounds like good news. See the gas going in. Thankfully, we discovered the problem right away, and it turns out we just ran out of gas due to a faulty gauge. Luckily, the crisis was averted, and we could now enter the Intracoastal Waterway. Just cleared that bridge. Getting ready for bridge number 2. And then bridge number 3. At mile 0 in Norfolk, we passed through Portsmouth and down the south branch of the Elizabeth River. There are 2 options along this route. 1, the most frequented path of the Virginia Cut, or there's the adventurous way, the Dismal Swamp.
And all this traffic is waiting for us. Sorry, bros.
Not just us.
Well, those other ones passed before us and then we kind of squeaked in, is what happened. Right? Squeaked in.
We're good at squeaking in. Oh, look, the Dismal Swamp is the route that we chose because we would prefer birds and bees over large freight ships any day. In 1763, George Washington actually first proposed to drain the swamp to harvest the timber in the area. Just anchored. First anchorage.
Right at the swamp.
Right at the swamp.
It's our arch nemesis over here. Sticking out the water.
Oh, don't want to hit them pylons. 8:30 a.m. We're the first ones through that lock. Luckily, back in 1763, Washington was not granted his wish, because today, everything from birds and slithering reptiles to winged insects and bears inhabit this unique primeval forest. Without its protection, they and the few people that live in it could not survive. We made it to the first lock right before it closed, so we would have to stay the night. So we put on our foul weather gear and chose to explore in the rain. Yes, too. Finally being on the Intracoastal. You find the worms. Ah, my hair. Just got snagged. Chris is really good at finding old artifacts.
It's an old plate or something.
Many boats that come through the Dismal Swamp will actually leave with a tannic acid mustache. And even though the water is brown as dark as coffee, it is not dirty. It is instead the release of acid from the decaying vegetation, because the area is surrounded by juniper and cypress trees. Just walked almost 2 miles so someone could have fresh avocados. We're finally back at the boat. Loading up on our fresh produce before we get too deep in the swamp. Are you happy? Tomorrow we get fresh guacamole. For anyone else going down this way, be sure to stock up on provisions. If you wanted to, you could even spend a few days here, because there's a lot of exploring you could do in this area, and the next stop isn't until Elizabeth City. It is a unique experience to say that you have taken a sailboat down a swamp. So if you can withstand the powerful surges in the locks and perhaps hitting a bumpy log or 2 on the bottom, you'll be fine. Plus, if you get a chance to meet Robert, it's all worth it.
I've been told I'm the world's best cultural player. Alright. Take your lips, tuck them behind your teeth, like that. Press them together, and make the elephant sound.
Damn, that sounds like a foghorn.
Lesson 2. Roll your tongue like the French. With your lips tucked behind your teeth to make the element sound. Alright? Lesson 3. Every time we put our hands deeper into the shell, we're going to bring it over down. Alright? If I didn't have to hold this hand here, I'd put this finger here and really bring it down.
That's crazy.
You put it together.
Snaps for Robert. He was definitely the most cheerful lockmaster that we had met along the entire route, and he even gave me a shell. Thanks, Robert. We were the first ones through the lock that morning, so we still had a lot of time before we got to the Welcome Visitor Center. But it's a very narrow channel, and sometimes there are floating logs or debris in the way. So I took advantage of the time I had to stay on deck as lookout and got in a nice morning yoga sesh. With only the soft hum of the motor running and birds to listen to, it was actually a very relaxing place.
Geologist. Great Dismal Swamp Canal. Beautiful place though. Kinda nervous about logs. I see a couple of dead heads. There was a guy in Hampton who told me that he sank a 60-foot crab boat pretty quick because he hit a submerged pylon. So it was 3 in the morning for him. Obviously it's not 3 in the morning for us.
Milepost 20 on the ICW and 9 on the Dismal Swamp. From Maryland to Virginia and now on to North Carolina. We still hadn't seen any alligators, but we did see Chris's worst nightmare. Lots of swimming snakes. Boaters will find about halfway down the canal a visitor welcome center where they can tie up or raft up for free, use the internet, or go search for wildlife on many of the local trails. For those also interested in seeing the supposedly cleanest water in the world, they should take their dinghies up to the Washington Ditch, all the way to Lake Drummond. We were unable to do so, but we have heard it is spectacular. In the world of cruising, the more the merrier. And in busy times, there can be a lot of boats rafted up at this particular location. But for us, that just means more cool people to meet and learn from. And for Chris to show his infamous dragon bowling trick too. Come sailing with us, and I'm sure he'll show you as well.
I see you, girl. You're basking in the sun. He's like, just leave me, please. On this table. See you later, dude.
Last ones to leave the Great Dismal Swamp Welcome Center.
Yeah.
Next stop, Elizabeth City. Got that bridge open for us. Lego. All green, everything. Smells like pure flowers out here. Sweet, sweet nectar. Gotta let these boats pass. About to approach our second lock. All the new friends we made were heading north, so we were still the only ones heading south that we knew of. But the one good thing about that was the waterway was pretty much clear for us and nobody was in our way. We had calm waters all the way until Elizabeth City, with just a little bit of rain, like always. Elizabeth City is a great last stop for people who are about to pass the Albemarle Sound into the Alligator River.
There are lots of good local restaurants and even a market to stock up on wine and fresh fruit. But after a fun night out on the town, we decided to come back to the boat to do some more wiring.
New LEDs coming our way. Okay, it's set to 20.
What's it say?
Oh, -11.96.
Okay, here we go. The moment of truth. Oh!
Hey!
Look at that.
LEDs.
It's so hot.
Like you.
Let's see. Let's put our headlamps off. Not super bright, but you can point it. You could see in your face.
The connections I made worked.
Yep. Look at that.
And even lights in the cupboard. Woohoo!
We'd like to say thank you to everyone who watches our videos, and if you enjoy them enough, you can also
Subscribe on our YouTube channel.
support us on Patreon or follow us on Instagram. Be sure to see the next part of the journey down the Alligator River.
And until next time, go have fun.
Fishing underneath the bridge, just watching my boyfriend talk to everyone he meets. Oh, I like the way he walks.
Cheers.